the NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of him.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofton corner the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Colin Thompson Show, brought to you by Not For Long Media. Lots going on in the sports world. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Lots of news in the Samboner world. We'll get into that too. Agave coming to Annapolis. Jack for that. Mick, Philip Stapes, Cooper Sharp Cheese now. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get into all that, everything we do here is brought to you by the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. FudgeKitchens.com sponsors our entire media company here at Not For Long Media. Check them out. Mother's Day is coming up, so take care of the women in your life. A little bit of fudge. So we got a packed house today. I'm going to introduce everybody one by one. First, I got to start with a person not a member of Not For Long Media, recently retired NFL veteran, Daniel Brown. What's up, Dan?
What's up, Colin? Appreciate you having me. I've been waiting to be on this show for a long time. I'm glad you finally asked me.
Yeah, I guess have you never been on?
Never been on. No.
Wow. Well, we're gonna need a little energy. We're gonna need a little juice. We're gonna need you to speak up a little bit.
Yeah. Be great.
So, what's going on in your world there, Dan?
Retired, trying to figure it out. I'm enjoying myself. So, no rush, no pressure. Just figuring it out. Spending some time in Annapolis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must be nice to be retired in Annapolis at 31 years old.
Right.
I'm currently living in Annapolis at 29, and it's not as fun and as cracked up to be just chauffeuring you around town and showing you a good time.
Yeah. But you got to keep me busy. So
we get you over to the Davis Pub yet, Dan?
Oh, plenty. That's a staple for me already. Every time we go out, I either start at Davis's or into Davis's every night I've been out here. So I'm well aware. I even have a little gift for him with my next time I go.
The guy gets a jersey hung up in the bar. He's been there 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
I have busted my ass, paid tabs on tabs there, and I took some effort and some energy for me to get up there. This guy walks in, slick back hair, nice haircut, said he played for the Ravens, and they want to hang his jersey.
That was huge. The Ravens thing was huge.
I was just you just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you got a jersey hung up yet? I'm sure Colin doesn't, so that's good to see.
Yeah, local hometown hero now with the Ravens background.
Damn right you are. That's that man chiming in. No one other than fan favorite here at Not For Long Media, Mick Mckenzie of the Samboner Show. What's up, Mickey?
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me on today, Colin. As always.
What's going on in your world? You got kids sports. You get the Samboner Show. You got Hoagie Month. My favorite Italian. Literally my favorite sandwich in the world is the Italian hoagie. So I'm jacked.
Now I got a big week on my hand here, fellas. So we're in day 2 of Parenting 101. The wife left me for the week. She's in Nashville. First part of the week for work. Second part of the week for fun. So I got 3 kids. We got 3 different events every single night this week, Monday through Friday. Don't ask me how. We pulled it off on Monday, and we're going to pull it off again tonight, tomorrow night, and the next night. But no, other than that, man, it's a beautiful time to be a Samboner. Dan, we got to get you on board with the debut. For me, man, it is right now the best 2 months of the year, April and May, prior to going back into the summer days, just full blown youth sports. I'm coaching my my oldest 12U baseball team for likely the last time, which is sad to say. But that's just kind of how it goes. After that 12U mark, they go into all these different Legion programs and different types of AAU programs. And Samboner Mick's just not cut out for that. But no, I love beating the 12U kids around and just busting their balls and having a good time. And then, and aside from that, the Sixers playoffs are in high gear. Bryce Harper makes his first appearance this year. So I'm pretty excited for that game tonight. But nah, man, all's good in the hood. Pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Bryce coming back. I'll be honest with you. I've said it on other shows.
Why?
I don't like it. It's a serious injury. He plays super hard. This isn't a casual Manny Machado, and it's not a shot at Manny, but when Manny plays, he's kind of methodical, and he's really a great player. But again, that was the 2 players that the Phillies had to pick between Bryce or Manny and free agency. I think Bryce plays super hard. And I think having him come back maybe a little bit early. I know he's not playing the field. I know he's not throwing the ball, but the way he slides into bases, you can't play at 75% when you're wired like that. John Runyon always says the only way you get hurt is if you don't play 100%. So I've had more injuries and jog throughs and rolled ankles that Dan can touch on. So that's my fear. He's holding back a little bit to protect himself. I hope that doesn't happen, Mick. So
I think he's a grown boy. He can make his own decisions. If he's ready, he's ready.
Yeah, I don't like it. Injuries, especially for older players. I don't like it. I don't see good. If he ruptures it,
no wonder you don't have your jersey hung up at Davison's pub. Listen to you, man. Come on, let's go.
I realize I don't have the Phillies goggles on like everybody else. Phillies are in good shape. I would give him always 2 to 3 weeks to a month longer to a serious injury like that. Jack in the back, the man pressing the buttons or not really pressing the buttons because he didn't feel like putting the intro on the show today. Jack Connell, what's going on, pal?
Nothing, still reeling from the great Sixers win last night. NFL draft wrapped up, doing some kind of finish up work with that with Ross and all that stuff. So it's been good, busy, NHL playoffs heating up. I've enjoyed Boston losing. That was like the only thing I saw. So that was enjoyable to watch as a anti-Boston person.
Yeah. Florida Panthers upset the best team in regular season history in the NHL.
Dude, that was absolutely nuts. Colin, I have been doing my best trying to watch some of the ice hockey playoffs, and the fact that kid got stoned by the top of the stick, like, oh my God.
I'm doing my best too to watch the NBA too. I watched a game last night. It was tremendous, but I was flipping between game 7s of NHL playoffs instead of a game 1 of NBA playoffs. So the NHL playoffs, though, has just been complete electricity, multiple game 7s, just ridiculous. So no, I appreciate everybody coming on. We got 3 guys on today, which should be fun and different. We don't have a major guest. Here's the 3 guests. Here's the show. We're going to rip it up and have a great time. Everything we do here is brought to you by Shots and Giggles Key West. Shots and Giggles Key West, the best bar in Key West to hang out, have a good time with the locals. Small, quaint, fun, great bartenders, great service, right behind Sloppy Joe's, 1 block off the Wall Street. So
Dan's probably thinking, what the hell am I doing sitting here on this podcast with 3 guys from Philadelphia? Like, how the hell did this happen? Is this a trap?
He doesn't even know.
It's 100% a setup.
Dan's from Smithfield, Virginia. Smithfield Hams, middle of nowhere.
Virginia.
So, and we're going to get into that story because this guy came literally out of the gutter.
Yeah, I got it out of the mud.
Oh, you're out of the mud, all right. From the farmlands of Virginia to the front seat of your Ravens. All right. So shout out to our friends at Shots and Giggles Key West. All right. So NFL draft this week, boys. Lots to discuss there. Lots of juice. Lots of energy. I got to go right to our NFL guy first. Dan, what were your thoughts on the draft overall? And then can you share us your kind of draft day story situation? Because I know it was pretty unique.
I honestly didn't think that I was going to watch the draft because it's the first year not being like involved at all. I was going to be like, there's no point in me watching because I usually watch to see who I'm going to have to fight to take my spot. What am I going to have to do to defend myself against this rookie who's been drafted? He's probably already got a leg up on me. So I didn't think I was going to draft, but I couldn't help myself. So I watched it. I watched the first 2 days. I didn't watch the day 3. Just too long and brought back too many memories. But it went basically how I expected. I think everybody hypes the quarterback position in the draft, and they just push quarterbacks regardless of whether it's a good class or not. They're always going to push quarterbacks because there's drama surrounded by it. The Will Levis thing, we all saw how it happened. He was a victim of the draft machine. Multiple people had him as a day 2 guy, and the hype of the draft and quarterbacks, and it's just he was a victim of it. Got invited to the green room, sat there for hours, and it's just but it went how I expected it. Just nobody ever gets it right. I mean, you got these guys who study all year to put together a mock draft, and they get it wrong every single year. It's like you can't predict it, but it's hilarious to watch these guys make a living and never get it right ever. But I watched it, and it brought back some memories of my experience where I wasn't, obviously I didn't get drafted, and I was barely undrafted. There's the first 7 rounds, and then, technically the 8th round is the undrafted free agents who get signed, and I wasn't even one of those guys. I consider myself a 9th rounder who got 1 phone call, after the draft, and it was a rookie minicamp invite, and knowing what I know now, it was a long shot because you see guys get those minicamp invites and it's like you're a body, right? You're there to put on practice for the guys who are drafted and the guys who are already signed. And I was extremely butthurt. I'd never expected to get drafted, but I was like, I put together a good pro day. I've got good film, good size and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll definitely get undrafted signee, right? I would 100%. And the phone just never rang. And it wasn't until like 9 o'clock after day 3 where my agent was like, hey, we have one opportunity and it's a tryout basis with the Ravens. And everybody's so happy for you because you get a shot. And I'm like, well, it's just a tryout. Like I'm kind of down in the dumps about it, but it's my only opportunity. So I got to go take advantage of it. But knowing what I know now, I was probably one bad drop away from never stepping on an NFL field again. It's just, I see kids get super excited about it, and when those guys come in for rookie minicamp and they're pumping their heads full, like you made it to the show, like you're here. And you're a body for practice for the guys who got drafted. And there's one or two guys who stand out. Fortunately, I did stand out and carve myself into a roster spot, probably 89 out of 90. And then the rest was history, but it brought back a lot of memories for sure.
Legendary grind for Dan Brown, folks. Again, I was undrafted free agent, so Dan would say 8th round. I got $4,500 to go to the Giants camp. They weren't going to cut me until they see, through the training camp. Like that's now that you look back, but Dan literally was there. The guy that I was in front of, running routes in front of, because I was like the undrafted guy and Dan was like the low level guy I would like look down upon, not really, but in a funny way.
Well, the guys like me have no shot, right? So everybody walks in there and you're in meetings and it's how much information can we throw at these guys as quickly as we can. But everybody who's signed, drafted kids, undrafted signees, they all get iPads, or at least that's how it was with the Ravens. They get iPads and the playbook's on the iPad so they can go study all night. And I'm sitting here scribbling everything that they just thrown at us for 30 minutes. I don't even have like the correct play calls or whatever. And I have to write it down, and I look over to my right, and the guys who have iPads are just taking their time, and they're going to go home, and they're going to look at it, and they're going to feel great. And I was like, luckily enough, I took it serious. I ended up going to Darren Waller's room because we were in the same class together. I ended up going to his room. I was like, listen, I really need to borrow your iPad, or I'm screwed tomorrow. So he, fortunately, he gave me his iPad, and I was able to study that way. But you're set up for failure. Like you're just a body. So it's wild.
It's a true grind, and Dan and I, for those that don't know, played together in Chicago. Then I got cut. Dan played for a couple more years, played a couple years with the Jets, bounced around the league for a good bit, 7+ years. Had a great career, and I'm just recently retired, like I said. For those listening to the show for the first time, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, check us out. All our shows at Not For Long Media. All right, Mick, so the Eagles, right? I said in the pre-draft notes, who do you think won the draft? I'm going to assume – the Philadelphia Eagles had a lot of players fall into their lap, and a lot of it had to do with drafts that happened last year and proper planning. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'll be completely transparent. I'm no NFL draft day analyst guru, if you will, although I will say just watching it and just kind of feeding off the buzz from other Philadelphia Eagles fans, I felt like something was going right, and I was excited to see them pull Jalen Carter in the first round at 10. And then grab another defensive back, Nolan Smith, another Georgia Bulldog. And quickly, we become the Philadelphia Bulldogs. So, I did some research. I'm thinking, were the Eagles the steal of the draft, or the biggest winners of the draft? And the Athletic had them as the best, draft team in draft day or draft weekend. And then another article came out saying that they were the winners of the draft as well. So, all in all, I think they beefed up a defense that was already pretty intimidating to begin with. And on top of that, the star-studded offense that they had. Look out for your Philadelphia Eagles is all I can say. I'm just more of a fan than I am an NFL analyst. But I got to say, at the end of the day, they put together a nice little draft weekend, and we couldn't be more excited for
Man
what's to come.
alive.
Man alive.
On the spot, Mick, your favorite Eagle of all time?
My favorite Eagle of all time goes to number 12, Mr. Randall Cunningham.
Why?
Oh, yeah. I was a quarterback growing up. I played 10 years of quarterback until I busted my leg freshman year at Wood, and just, grew up wearing a Randall Cunningham jersey. Now you see me, now you don't. You think you will, no, you won't. You know where that's from, boys?
No.
Are you guys too young?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. But he's watching you. He's watching. Oh, my God. Who am I talking to here?
Bunch of kids.
Bunch of kids. And Jack, the grown man of the room.
Buddy ball, baby.
Oh, wow. Did you know it, Jack?
No, not at all.
But you do know this. What are your thoughts on the NFL draft, Jackie boy?
I thought there was a couple teams that came out really good in the draft. The one team, somebody we talked about before, I thought that they're really good. That went in a complete opposite direction that I expected, granted, because of how the board fell. Seattle Seahawks, Devin Witherspoon, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Charbonnet out of UCLA, who I think is a really good back. The Lions caught a lot of flack. I really like their class. I thought Jahmyr Gibbs is really good. Jack Campbell is an old school backer. I think he's really good. Brian Branch, safety. He can kind of play everywhere in secondary. I think he might be a slot corner, to be quite honest with you. And another one that I really like, I think was underrated pick, was just because of who he was behind, Roschon Johnson to Chicago. He's kind of he reminds me a little bit of Taysom Hill. He's just a really big utility special teams guy. He played quarterback a little bit, running back. Like, he pretty much can do everything. So I think he was a fourth rounder. I think he could be really underrated for Chicago, especially since they really don't have a good running back room.
Yeah, it's great stuff out of you, Jack, and everybody. There's a lot to dissect from the draft. Who knows how it's all going to work out, right? It's not perfect science. The guys get hurt. Guys have families. Guys have issues. Guys do well. Guys that weren't drafted and they didn't invest $1 in, like Dan Brown, turn out to be, starters and 4-team special teams guys, and there'll be first-round picks that are busts, and there'll be undrafted players. 1/3 of the league or more is undrafted. So lots to digest. My takeaway was the maturity of Will Levis through this whole situation. I mean, that guy sat there the entire time, and I'm sure the conversation was had with him and brought to him. I'm assuming he's got great representation of, hey man, if something doesn't happen here in the top 5, top 10, it's going to be a slide, because these teams all have quarterbacks now. And I thought the camera on him, his family's there. That's really, really tough. And he had an iron jaw with it. He took it, sat there, tried to be cool, calm, and collected. That's hours, folks. We're all sitting on our couch, hanging out, chopping it up. I was super impressed by that, how he just took it. Now, the next day.
Did you see the video that just came out, Colin? Sorry to cut you off. It was
No,
just
like
a in hindsight type of video where he's walking down the field in the dome, and the guy, his agent was asking him, so are you going to declare for the draft? And he was just like, nah, you know what? If it's not guaranteed I'm going to the top 15, I can't be that guy that's just hanging off in the end thinking I'm going to get drafted. It was just a joke.
Oh, yeah.
In hindsight.
No, that's great. No, I mean, listen, I respect it. And then, these guys that slide, that take it as a negative. My rebuttal to all those guys and the guys that slide from drafted to undrafted, that think they're going to be this draft pick, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is your signing bonus. And if you go undrafted, it's a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. If you're drafted, it's a 4-year deal with a 5-year option. So if you're undrafted, you're quicker to your second contract in the big money. If you're drafted, you're slower, but you get more money up front. That's it. So for guys that are huffing and puffing because they slid out of the first, second round, yes, there's money affected. But the real money you make is in your second contract and in longevity. So my rebuttal to all those guys that were pouting, because I thought it was kind of ridiculous, is your dream when you were a kid, running around the football field, wasn't to be the 3rd pick overall. It was to be an NFL player. And then the older you got, you're saying, man, I'd love to be a first-round pick. But you never said it would be a dream. Maybe you did. God bless you. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what I noticed. Some of it was the maturity or lack thereof from some guys because they were upset or happy or whatever where they went. It's like, dude, you just got your opportunity. It's going to be a journey. You're going to play for multiple teams. You're going to get cut. You're going to get traded. You're going to move. You're going to sign short-term leases. You're not going to buy a house. Like, you're not going to have multiple cars. It's not going to work out all perfect, but it's your career. Make it as you go. I appreciate everyone's input. Really good stuff. Going to a game this year, promo code Colin Thompson. Check it out. SeatGeek, promo code Colin Thompson. Let's see. So Mick's jacked up about the Birds. Jack's jacked up about a couple people. Dan, who are you going to root for now? Because you're out of the league. You're a suitcase. You played all over this damn league. Who are you going to root for?
I don't think I'll root for anybody anymore. It's just, I mean, you know how it is, right? There's no loyalty. There was no loyalty to me. I don't feel any like loyalty. Like, so there's nobody, and I don't know. I'm not going to just pick and choose a team. I think I'm just past the point rooting. Obviously I have, the way I see it is I still have friends in the league and I will watch them play and I'll root for them to do well. I got friends on the Jets. I'll pull for the Jets to do well. I got friends on the Bears. I'll pull for them. Friends on the Ravens. I'll pull for them to do well. But I'm not going to sit there and pick a favorite team and say this is my my ride or die for the rest of my life. I think it's just I'll be a fan of the NFL forever. But as far as one particular team, I don't think it's going to happen.
Now, the commonly asked question, as we're all over the place here for this, is, and I think this is going to be for Mickey. It has to be for Mickey because he's the leader of this tribe. And Mickey, you're muted here, so pop off the unmute. But what the hell is a Samboner, and how the hell did this thing start?
He just puts me on the spot. I love it. So Dan, just to put a little context into play.
Yeah, because I have no idea what a Samboner is. I see it all the time, but I have no idea what it is.
And I figured most of our broadcast doesn't know, so I figured this would be great with Mick here because Mick kills it with the show, tremendous with the page. Continue, Mick.
Yeah, no, Dan. So back in 2019, me and 5 other buddies, the original Samboners, always just talking shop over sandwiches, where we're going to get a hoagie, where we're going to get cheesesteaks. We're always talking sports. We're always talking this, that, and the other thing. Nothing but banter, nothing but just a bunch of misfits trying to wreak havoc on life. We all grew up together playing football for the Southampton Knights in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And as we got older, we were all just scattered throughout Philadelphia in our various jobs. A couple white collar guys, a couple blue collar guys. I was down in the heart of Philadelphia, Rittenhouse Square. And we started doing these like sandwich reviews over text. And we always called a sandwich a Sambo. And it was like, where are you going here? Where are you going now? I mean, and you got to put this into context. Like Philadelphia is like the sandwich capital of the world, especially when it comes to cheesesteaks and hoagies and stuff like that. Right. You're probably thinking like, what the hell is this guy talking about already? But anyway, we formed this like cult following going around like at different areas throughout the tri-state reviewing sandwiches. And it all kind of stems from us calling sandwiches Sambos, which essentially became, this Samboning experience. We're out there, we're the Samboners. And then we created this little tagline called Take a Look, Take a Bite. And like sandwiches was the centerpiece, but we were like paying homage to all these just like iconic places in the city, like, Pat's and Gino's, John's Roast Pork, Angelo's Pizzeria, the Knicks in the Reading Terminal. And just there's a million places. And then we created this like little lingo, this Samboning experience, and we all became Samboners, and we created this cult community around it to get people out there to continue to just pay, support to their local deli shops, pizza joints, whatever. And now we have, close to 10,000 Samboners running through the city of Philadelphia, doing what we started. So really, I don't know if that answers your question, Colin, but, Samboning is just a way of life for you to go out there, have fun, chop it up, show us who you are, what your personality is all about. And again, maybe you pay a little homage to your local deli, a friend of yours that has a shop, near town, and just want to showcase his place and just get after it.
It answered my question because people are going to be hearing from Mick more, and he's going to be involved with all our different shows here. Just super talented, big personality. What do you got, Dan?
My question is like, okay, I get it. Like, why do you call them Sambos? Like, sandwich doesn't really sound. I don't know. I guess my question is why a Sambo? Is it just
no? It's a good question because there's a lot of people out there that call them like a sandy or a sandwich or a sandwich, and just Sambo was our lingo. I think I look it up. It's actually the like Irish term for sandwich, like noun form, Sambo, Irish lingo. Go. Yeah. So I guess a bunch of us, as Irish Catholics, just had that kind of rolling off our tongue as we were kids. And so again, like Sambo became, we're Samboners, we're out there Samboning. This is the Samboner experience. And then this little tagline we created, Take a Look, Take a Bite, just kind of all came organically and naturally. And then the pandemic hit and we were supporting these local businesses to begin with. They started to bleed and we were like, let's get out there and just, showcase this product. If we can get some people to get behind us and do it. Maybe we got something, and in a short 2 years, we've created a pretty cool following of Samboners going out there and doing this.
That's great.
It's unique. It's fun.
That's awesome.
It's so fun. And I got to ask Mick and Jack here. I'll go to Jack first. Thoughts on the NBA playoffs, Jack, and the Celtics Sixers?
It's really been exciting. I apologize to hear my noise in the back. I have literally everybody just decided to show up at once in my family. But anyways, Sixers Celtics was truly tremendous. Doc Rivers is the king of coaching undermanned teams for some reason. So that series has really got to an exciting start. James Harden looking like he was back in Houston. That series has been exciting. the whole fallout of Memphis was hilarious to the point where they said under no circumstances is Dylan Brooks coming back to the team next season, which is a report I've never heard a team say about a player in any sport ever. Just kind of wild. So, I mean, that series is exciting. Now you got LeBron versus Curry as a result of that. You got the Knicks and the Heat, which is an old school matchup. So it's really been exciting. I mean, all of these teams, you could pick a team out of the hat and they could win it all. It's really how exciting.
Damn, Colin, we have this argument. Like, I know you're a huge hockey guy. Jack and I are obviously bigger basketball guys, but like, if you watched last night's Sixers versus Celtics game, I'm sorry, but there's no way that the hockey playoffs can beat that type of entertainment. There's no way.
My thing is we had to wait for it.
It was incredible.
We had to wait for it.
I love the NBA playoffs. Like, it's my favorite time of the year. Like, I enjoy watching NBA, but the NBA playoffs, I'll sit there and watch every single game.
Thank you, Dan.
I'm a big basketball guy. I mean, I think basketball was my first like true love, and I think football was going to take me a lot further than basketball. But I'll sit there and watch every game of the NBA playoffs. Like, I'm a huge NBA playoffs guy.
My only thing with the NBA playoffs is we had to wait for it. Right. NHL playoffs, you could be this 8 seed versus the 1 seed, and you're not waiting for it. They all went game 7s. Like there's no parity. Like there's parity, but it's not as extreme as the NBA.
Yeah, so, well, the Heat just knocked off the Bucks, and
you had two play-in teams this year that took out a 2 seed to win. I mean, I think they said this is the first time ever there's been one of every seed. There's one through every single seed left. Like there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 left. So
no, it was a good game last night. You're right. I'm all listen. I am in. But just kind of wake me up when it becomes relevant. I guess I haven't been watching the whole. I'm a big Sixers fan. I'm not an NBA fan.
Basketball is just it's a small court. It's constant action. It's just play after play after play. Like, look, I get it. Hockey's probably more physical, and that probably brings that testosterone out of you a little bit. But like it can get boring. There's a lot of skating. Like a game 7 last night, and the Rangers lose 4-0. Like, come on, you don't come to play in a game 7.
Bad. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, I guess I'm technically a Warriors fan, and the only reason I say that is because I'm an Under Armour guy, and I have been for quite a few years. So I pull for Steph Curry, and I think the dude's great. Like I think that brand of basketball is just exciting to watch. Like watching him play is like of my generation. I guess it's like watching LeBron back in the day.
It's incredible, Dan. It's absolutely incredible, and Jason Tatum did the same thing last night.
Yeah, I didn't really watch a lot of Michael Jordan. I was just a little bit too young. But watching LeBron and Kobe and Steph, it's like I love watching that guy. He's completely, in my eyes, changed the way the game's played. I mean, he's a pioneer of the way the game's played. And I mean, like you said, in a game 7, the dude puts it on his shoulders and drops 50 in a game 7. So it's like I would take that over a 4-0 hockey game, any day.
Oh, now we're just selecting bad games, like one.
Thank you, Dan.
Dan's
coming around. Dan's coming around, everybody. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it. It's good. Listen, people don't have to agree. I love the NBA playoffs. I think they're great. But when goalies are fighting players in the middle of a game and there's like sick goals and big upsets, I just like it. I like it. A lot of juice, a lot of action. I need the action. And I think this about the NHL, and which sucks about it, is there is a major difference between the regular season and NHL and the playoffs. Not even close. I think it's the biggest. It's remarkable. And I think the NBA they hold the whistle a little bit more in the playoffs, which I like. I think basketball needs some more physicality, in my opinion. Yeah. So lots to digest, guys. Before I get into all that, I say we bring up what we're going to rank today, and this is a fun one. So we want to start bringing the rankings back on the show. We don't know we're going to call them yet. We're not going to force it. We're going to let it happen. Now, I'm going to give mine first. Let everyone collect their thoughts. It's supposed to be a top 5, but I'm going to give my list because it's like 10 things. Because I just can't fit it in one. So now that I'm not with a team and hopefully resigning with a team here soon, kind of wait till the draft, wait for the landscape to figure out, see where I'm going to be, and deploy the resources and the people to figure it out. That's kind of where I'm at now. So I've been going to public gyms a lot. First time in my life. I haven't gone to many public gyms. In high school, I trained in my football, at the football gym at the high school. And then college, obviously Florida, and then Temple. And then when I was out of the league the first couple of years, I trained at Temple, took the train down and worked out there. So not many public gyms. Of course, I've been in them and the YMCAs, and I swim a lot and all that stuff, but not many public gyms. But now, since I've been a free agent, and I still train at Navy here a little bit, but I love this public gym I'm at. Then they're going to be working out together here soon, which will be nice. you're gonna be able to see all this in action, which I've made lists of. So here's my list of the top 5 things that disturb me most about gyms. Okay, and it's a list of 9. It's not even 5. I couldn't leave them out. I couldn't leave them out, Jack. So figure out how to make the list look cool. That's your job. So number 9, just horrible weight etiquette, and then standing in front of the rack while you do weights. So say you're doing curls, people grab the weights, stand right in front of the rack so no one else can get their weights. Also, if there's 4 weights on the rack, so if there's 4 35s, they grab the 2 middle 35s and they leave the outside ones there. That's something to me that's just absolutely ridiculous and poor etiquette. Laying down in the sauna. Okay, the sauna only fits about 4 to 5 people anyways, and the guy lays across the top and doesn't get up. Okay, that drives me crazy. If you walk in and you don't acknowledge someone came in and they want to sit up top where it's a little bit hotter and you don't move, I think you got a problem. Working out in jeans, I mean, you lose me on that. You lose me on that. And again, if that's what your means are to work out in jeans, I'm fine. But running on the treadmill in jeans, that's a tough one for me. Towels that go around, but they leave the opening in the front. The guys leave the opening in the front. So they're walking towards you and their junk's out because they wrap the towel around in the front. You know, is any of that going on in your gym, Mickey?
No, I can't say that goes on in my gym, Colin. I'm sorry, pal.
The other thing, people that don't want to sweat, that complain it's too hot, and they dress like they don't want to sweat. Like, we're in the gym to sweat. Turn up the heat or whatever. Not hot, but like it's like there's a million fans blowing. Like, I just did an hour bike ride and I'm not soaked. Like, how's that even possible? That bothers me. Let's see. Number 4, this is where it starts to get weird, folks. Not that it's not weird already.
It hasn't gone weird already.
No. Guys or gals, but I see the guys that shower after the workout and then go back into the sauna for a nice sweat for 15 minutes and then put their clothes back on. What the heck is that? I mean, maybe just be me, Mick, but this is what's going on at the gym I'm at, brother.
Well, maybe they don't want to shower in the gym. They just go home to shower.
Shower, sauna, put your clothes back on, and then I don't know. To me, it's like sauna, shower, get you.
Gotta stay warm, man.
Yeah, you got to stay warm. It's warm out here. Number 3, as we digress here, air drying all crevices. Okay, it's one thing to put your head up underneath the air dryer and get the hair right, maybe a pit or 2, but all crevices in your body, taking the portable things and just getting up. No. I'm not talking about the armpits, and I'm talking about other crevices.
Yeah. That's the only one I could show right now. So,
well, thank you. I mean, that to me is just asinine. And then 2, naked in the sauna, of course, a little awkward. Come on, bro. Put a towel over it. And then combination of that, shaving in the sauna. That's new to me.
Ooh, I've never seen that.
I see it frequently at the gym I'm at. Guys are shaving their head, shaving their face. What is that, gentlemen? I hope some of these guys listen too.
Maybe they think that their pores are like, that's when your pores are open. So that's the closest shave you're going to get. So maybe
listen, there's more than a handful of guys that do it. More than a handful. And then lastly, and this is my pet peeve with a lot of things, guys that get injured in whatever they may be doing, and they do everything they can at the gym to flaunt it for people to ask them if they're injured, why they're injured, and how it happened. I know it sounds like a weird one. There's a gentleman that I've seen in different gyms. They're all the same type of cat, comes in with the broken hand, the broken foot, and they just want everyone to ask him about it the whole time. About like this, like I heard it, softball league. I heard it punching a wall. To me, boys, that's just no sympathy if you're going to come in here doing that. It's just like, come on, man. So that's my 9.
This broadcast is brought to you by LA Fitness.
Yeah. I wish. So we'll go to Mickey because I know Mickey's ready to go, baby. Mick, give us your 5. I love it.
I don't think I have 5. Like I have 4.
Okay.
And two go together. So like nothing drives me more crazy than like, people taking selfies of themselves while they're working out. But what's even worse is when they look up in the mirror and they pull their shirt up and they take a picture of like their 6-pack on their stomach. Like, you got to be the biggest fucking tool bag in the world for taking pictures of yourself through the mirror of your own 6-pack. Like, I'm sorry if you guys have done that in the past, but you need to check yourself in the mirror, literally. And then you already touched on it, Colin. This also goes 2 and 2 together, and I've seen this. Now, I actually work out at like a local country club, so I used to go to the LA Fitness.
Humble brag.
I've seen it all back in the day, but you know, the guys that have the nerve, again, I'm going to stand up. You want me to get naked? I will. But they get the air dryer and yeah, dude, they're up here, they're over here. And then what's even worse, 2 and 2 together, they decide to walk over to the sink butt ass naked and start brushing their teeth. Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like your ball hair's falling off on the tile floor. You have the nerve to brush your teeth? Oh my God, don't get me started. Good luck, man.
Oh man, what do you got there, Dan? Tough one to follow.
Yeah. I'm kind of with, it's an adjustment period, right? Because I was the same with you. I've never been in a public gym. And then, you know, last year as I was still trying to play, I was rehabbing from surgery. That ended. So it was like, you got to go find a public gym. And I was like, it's the most awkward thing, right? Because it's just, we're used to being around people who are like us and do things a certain way. And then it's like a free for all in the gym. So I don't have them like numbered. I'm just going to kind of just ramble off what I think. And it's, the first one is gym attire. Like, it's just like the jeans. Like I was at the gym this morning and the guy was wearing Timbs, like in the gym. Like, it's just like, that's not, I was at home a couple weeks ago and there was a dude squatting and deadlifting and he had Crocs on. Like, that's just not, and he had some weight on the bar. He had like 315 on the bar. And he's squatting, and it's just like that's not good. So the gym attire, a huge pet peeve of mine is like you're in the gym to work out, you're in the gym to sweat, right? You're in there to work hard, and people are on the phone having like a phone conversation, like FaceTiming, or on the like you can't have a good workout while you're talking to someone on the phone or face. Like you're just doing a leg press and you're FaceTiming and you're just not into it. It just that bothers me to like no end. The gym shower does like, and it's, I don't know, from what I always see, it's always the older generation, like 70 plus, they just don't care about towels. Like they'll just shower and guts hanging out and they're just walking, you know, butt ass naked. And they're just, I mean, they don't have a care in the world, you know, happy for them, whatever, but it's just,
I respect it.
Put a towel on. And also I think maybe my biggest one, maybe I feel bad for them. It's just watching people seeing how people work out. And it's like, I've always been, you know, you go do an exercise, you do 3 sets, you superset it with something else, you go to the next. I just see people go in there, you know, and they'll do 5-6 reps of one exercise, walk to another machine, do 5 or 6 reps of one, and just keep going. Like you're not working any specific part. Like go into the gym with a plan. I'm going to work on some upper body. I'm going to work on some lower body. Like pick something and stick with it. Don't go do, you know, some leg press, go do some bench press, like 1 set of each and just keep walking. Like, dude, it's like the mile. Like they just hit every single machine on the mile. And it's like, oh, I had a good workout because I did every single machine in the building today. Like that's not a good workout.
And I'm going to go to Jack here as he's got to leave here in a little bit. But I think for me, you can add that to mine, Jackie, is if you're an adult and you have poor technique, God bless you. But if you're a kid in there and you have poor technique lifting, you need to see some help before you get hurt. That's the worst to me. That's like, dude, guys in there that's just asinine. So, Jack, as you got to leave here soon, my friend. What do you got?
Quite literally. I only have time for one, and it's a specific moment so like there's a gym in our athletic building at school, obviously, and there's like a career and professional development day or something that day in the gym. I saw a kid squatting in a full suit about a month ago. I should have taken a picture, but I would have felt bad. But just straight full suit with like not the vest, whatever like the thing is you put over like like you wear at weddings or whatever. Like he had that on,
3-piece
black dress. Yeah, just the whole 9 yards. And the entire, like I was with like the baseball team. We're all looking at him like, is this kid serious? And listen, like I'm workout like minimally, but like what? Like what is that? Like I feel like you gotta at least commit to it, but I gotta run here. So
Jack's got to do serious work other than Mars. Appreciate you, Jackie. Thanks for coming on and enlightening us with the great stories. You wrap up now.
Must have not have been a fitted suit, you know. Fitted suit, you wouldn't be able to bend in that. You know?
Not everyone can afford to find, you know, custom suit like you, Dan.
I know you got a couple custom suits too. I saw it on your Instagram, but that
Somebody dressed that kid well, didn't he, man?
Camp. I've seen it. That's a nice custom fitted suit.
I thought he was going to bust out his 2010 Archbishop Wood uniform for the
with the grays. Who was it? Flynn and O'Hara. Flynn and who were they? Mick, who sold us the
Flynn
stuff?
and O'Hara. Shout out Flynn and O'Hara. Yeah,
free shout out to Flynn and O'Hara.
Pretty good.
That was good. Yeah. No, that was a C-Mac gift for blocking for him for like 10 plays. Why I didn't deserve it. A lot of guys deserved it a lot more.
Take it and run with it.
Take it, run with it for sure. Now, Dan, what's the best gift you got from a quarterback over the years?
I've never been on a team where the tight ends have been gifted for anything ever.
That's because you don't block. It's because you don't block for anybody.
No, it's just like, okay, so Joe used to do it for the tight ends in Baltimore, but my first year I was a wide receiver, so I wasn't going to see any of that. And then second year played tight end, but I got shipped off to Chicago before the end of the season, so I didn't get to see that. Nobody in Chicago took care of tight ends. We were a nobody to everyone. So, Frank
got us a gift card.
yeah, Frank. Yeah, he did. He got us Apple TV one time.
Thanks, Frank.
And then, but as far as like from like other players, like running backs or quarterbacks, I've never been on a team where they've gifted the tight end group. So
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Christian took good care of us there back-to-back years before he was traded. All right, so for me, wrapping things up here, I always do the bar of the week on my show. Before I do that, does Mick or Dan have a bar like to shout out? I know Mick always talks about some good bars. Any bars you're looking forward to hitting this summer, Mickey?
No, I don't have a bar of the week right now, honestly.
No bar you're looking forward to even hitting this summer? You're not into that stuff?
No,
just water for
Sober
me, please.
Season for me, Colin. Come on.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Because I always brag. The whole sober January thing to me is like this is the worst time to do it. You got NFL playoffs. You got all these sports going on. To me, it's like pick April. I thought I was going to do that. Didn't go over too big. So, lied to myself on that one there. And then Dan showed up in Annapolis.
I do have a bar of the week, honestly. If you want me to give you a bar of the week.
I just shout it. I didn't make anything crazy. It was no pressure. I just put it on there.
And if this is redundant, put me in my place. But, I'm just finding a bar nowadays that has the Phillies game streaming, like even the pregame. Like I'm a big fan of Sound of the Game. So my bar of the week would be the Maple Glen Tavern. Just a great little hole in the wall right in Maple Glen, Pennsylvania. People go there to watch the Phillies game, right? They know the Sound of the Game is on. They can go there for the pregame, throw a couple darts, get a couple beers in, and actually listen to the broadcast. So for me, that's just, kudos to any bar out there that has full emphasis on guys coming to their bar to listen and watch.
Love it. That's quality stuff.
I'm a huge fan of that. I love the broadcast of the game. I don't know that I've ever been more mad than I was watching Game 7 of Warriors Kings, fourth quarter, right? About 9 minutes left. My area has a severe thunderstorm tornado warning. So the meteorologist cuts in on the game. It's side by side. He was like, "We're gonna leave the game on for you guys, but you can't hear anything." This guy rambled for 15 minutes from the 9-minute mark of the game all the way down to the 2-minute mark. I didn't hear a single thing about the broadcast, and I was just absolutely furious. My parents couldn't figure out why I was so mad because I don't want to listen to this guy talk about a possible tornado warning when I'm trying to listen to Steph Curry score his 50th point and break record. It's just I don't want to if there's a tornado coming, I'm not watching TV anyway. So I'm a huge fan of the broadcast. So I'm glad
I'm in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, the bar of the week this week on the Colin Thompson Show brought to you by Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Parley Room in Annapolis, Maryland. Absolutely love this place. High-end cocktails. Look right down on Main Street. Lots to do. Lots shopping. Places to eat. You get these kind of appetizer, charcuterie board vibe here at the Parley Room. Really love it. Right next to the state capitol. Really unique. Definitely a former, I don't know if it was apartment or whatever, but turned into a sweet high-end cocktail bar. So absolutely love going there. Went there this weekend. Got great drinks, great service, great food. Food and ambiance, a 5 out of 5. Service, 5 out of 5. No TVs, no big deal. I think, too, it wasn't the vibe for it. So I always give that a 3 out of 5, middle of the road. And then drinks, 5 out of 5. Love the craft cocktails. Love the kind of old school, high-end vibe that they got rocking there. So 5 out of 5, 18 out of 20 for the Parley Room in Annapolis, Maryland, the bar of the week at the Colin Thompson Show. And then lastly for me, guys, I always talk about like a Bus One member. So pretty cool story. John Tavares seals the deal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This guy was a longtime Islander and was one of the biggest, if not the biggest free agent signings that offseason. He's from Toronto, posting pictures of him with Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys and bed sheets as a kid, gets to become the captain there. And the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't got out of the first round in 19 years, one of the most historic franchises in the world. And they got out of the first round because John Tavares, who's had an up and down ride with Toronto, again, the team captain where he grew up, he hits a freaking game winner against Tampa, I believe, game 6, and that does it. So I want to give John a shout out because the guy has been getting hounded. But to be from that town, hit a walk-off, pretty big deal from JT and the Maple Leafs. Scary team in the playoffs now that they got finally over the hump against Tampa Bay Lightning. Anything from you there, Daniel, as we wrap up your first episode?
No, it's been a blast. I'm glad that I actually got on. I've been waiting. I'm surprised it took me so long, for you to ask. But I'm glad you finally cracked and gave me. Maybe it's because I'm a kind of a local for the summer. I'm a half a mile from Colin's house, and maybe he feels more obligated to include me. So I appreciate it.
I gave you something to do today, Dan. Retired life, What'd you do today? Went on a podcast, chopped it up, walked my dog. Yep. Mick, now he's playing Super Dad, but that's Mick's every day at this juncture.
Well, hopefully I'm an inspiration to all of you out there and your future families.
Hey, good stuff from you guys. I appreciate it. A little bit of mix up of the episode. Fun. Something we're going to do more of moving forward. I love the different personalities, people getting to know different people. Try to do that all across what we do at Not For Long Media. So that's Mick. Jack left. That's Dan. I'm Colin Thompson. Appreciate you guys tuning in.